As the most advanced manufacturer of chip manufacturing technology, TSMC is losing everything because of its own wrong choice. Well, this is the media's evaluation of TSMC. Due to TSMC's world-leading chip manufacturing technology, high yield rate, and large production capacity, it has never been short of chip orders. But after the chip rules were revised, everything changed. TSMC began to pursue orders and subsidies. Because of this, TSMC lost its leading advantages, equipment advantages, and R&D advantages, and it failed to seize new opportunities. To make matters worse, TSMC's diligent culture clash at Arizona fab. Why? I mean, how did TSMC get into such a plight? Okay, in today's video, let's talk about this issue. First of all, TSMC is pursuing technological leadership, but has lost its leading edge. TSMC executives have publicly stated that TSMC is pursuing technological leadership, and building chip production lines with non-US technology is not the current direction of consideration. But in terms of chip manufacturing technology, TSMC has begun to lag behind. For example, Samsung took the lead in mass-producing 3nm chips than TSMC, and plans to mass-produce 3nm chips with GAA process this year, while TSMC plans to mass-produce 2nm chips with GAA process in 2024. By the way, the 3nm chip using the GAA process, its performance improvement and power consumption optimization are ahead of the traditional FinFET process, which may be the main reason for Intel, Qualcomm and others to delay the 3nm chip. In addition, both Samsung and Intel plan to mass-produce 2nm chips around 2025, which is basically the same time as TSMC, which means that TSMC will have no advantage in technology at all. Second, TSMC is losing its equipment advantage. The reason why TSMC can become the world's most advanced manufacturer of chip manufacturing technology is inseparable from the strong support of ASML. Previously, the EUV lithography machine developed by ASML was given priority to TSMC. The data shows that half of the production capacity of EUV lithography machines is shipped to TSMC. A large number of EUV lithography machines not only increase the production capacity of TSMC EUV wafers, but also increase the yield rate. But in terms of the new generation of high-NA EUV lithography machines, TSMC said it will be available in 2024, and ASML is expected to deliver to manufacturers later this year. This means that ASML may have given priority to supplying advanced lithography machines to other manufacturers, most likely Intel. Third, TSMC is losing its R&D advantage. TSMC announced to build a factory in the United States, investing more than $43.5 billion to build a 5nm per 3nm chip production line, and it is expected to mass-produce 3nm process chips in the United States in 2026. Instead, the US has said that any chip company receiving more than $150 million in direct funding will be required to share with the US a portion of any cash flow or return that exceeds the applicant's expected agreed-upon threshold, but that this portion will exceed 75% of the recipient's direct funding award. This means that the United States not only wants TSMC's technology, but also TSMC's profits. TSMC's establishment of a factory in the United States was a wrong choice. It lacked a supply chain and the cost was high. Now, part of the profit has to be taken away by cents, which will inevitably affect TSMC's investment in research and development. Therefore, Morris Chang, the founder of TSMC, has made it clear many times before that TSMC will fail to build a factory in the United States. Fourth, TSMC did not seize new opportunities. TSMC was able to rise rapidly and become a leading company in chip manufacturing because it seized the opportunity of smartphones. However, new energy vehicles brought huge opportunities to mature technology chips, but TSMC did not seize it. SMIC is the first company in the world to expand the production capacity of mature technology chips, with a continuous investment of nearly 150 billion yuan. However, Liu Daing, an executive at TSMC at the time, said that the demand for mature process chips was saturated. Then TSMC decided to expand the production capacity of the Nanjing factory, build a mature process chip factory in Japan, and plan to build a second one. To sum up, TSMC does not have an advantage in the GAA process, and has lost the priority supply rights for advanced lithography machines. Profits will also be divided up, which will affect the development of advanced processes. That's why the media said that TSMC is losing everything. Finally, there is another trouble for TSMC to build a factory in the United States, that is, TSMC's diligent culture clash at Arizona fab. The main problem is that the engineers dispatched by TSMC are accustomed to the corporate culture of long working hours and responsibility system in Taiwan, so in exchange for TSMC's outstanding achievements in high quality and high yield rate, American factory workers, on the other hand, scout out the door without handing them over when it's time to leave, and even refuse to be assigned. Such a culture clash could affect TSMC's technological leadership. Morris Chang, the founder of TSMC, once said bluntly in front of Pelosi that he was not optimistic about the success of the US transplanted chip industry because of this. As a wafer foundry, TSMC has achieved today's leading position mainly by relying on strict team discipline, precision and efficiency, and continuous creation of technological leadership and product yield. Under the geopolitical background, TSMC was forced to go to the United States to set up a factory. Although the US CHIP Act provides subsidies, whether the amount is enough to cover the 4 times higher production costs of US factories, TSMC has always been vague, and even decided to expand the original promised investment from $12 billion to $40 billion. This decision may drive more manufacturers to invest, thereby alleviating supply chain problems and reducing production costs. But TSMC may not have thought that the most difficult problem would be the differences in the working culture of employees. Last year TSMC sent Taiwanese employees to work at US plants on 6 chartered flights in an astonishing display. The scene was quite astonishing. These employees have received double salary treatment, the promise of allocation of recreational vehicles, and can live in dormitories arranged by the company. Among them, many employees sign contracts to go to the United States with their families so that their children can receive education in the United States and even obtain green cards in the future. However, in recent months, dissatisfaction with these employees or their spouses has been reported on the internet, and even shady stories such as the chief's request for no vacations have been revealed. This all shows that the American dream of expatriate employees is broken. Well, TSMC faces challenges managing employees at its new fab in Arizona, who are unaccustomed to the long work hours and management culture that in Taiwan have helped make the company the world's largest chip foundry. The work culture in Taiwan is really different than in the US, said a person identified as a TSMC Arizona fab equipment engineer on Glassdoor, a website where current and former employees anonymously review companies. TSMC will have to change to an 8-hour workday 5 days a week. However, the reality for people from Taiwan is that they are doing even more than 12-hour days often. There's also the night shifts and weekend shifts on duty and or on call. To maximize profits, fab operators need to keep expensive and highly sensitive capital equipment running 24/7. To help prevent production halts resulting in billions of dollars of losses and scrapped silicon wafers, production engineers must monitor and tweak their equipment constantly. TSMC engineers remain on call after ordinary working hours in the event of an emergency. TSMC should expand its workforce so employees can work reasonable hours each day and still enjoy good benefits, according to the employee who has been with the company for about a year. I think TSMC might at least approach this in Arizona, as it has to compete to retain and attract talent against companies like Intel right across the street. Long work hours have added to TSMC's reputation as a company where fab workers sacrifice their health in return for attractive compensation packages. That, and the opportunity to participate in the development of the world's most advanced chip technology. More or less, the culture needs to be changed, but the overall work environment and requirements have been established in Taiwan for a long time, the US engineer said. So this will be transplanted to TSMC Arizona. Some small modifications should make it more acceptable, but the American engineers will need to adapt to the work environment and this kind of culture. However, changing the culture or work environment from what it's like in Taiwan will be very difficult. After all, it's possible that more than half of the people in Arizona may come from Taiwan. The US government has worked closely with foundry leaders TSMC and Samsung to help revive US semiconductor manufacturing. The current culture clash reflects the seismic shift in the locus of chip manufacturing pioneered in the US. Today, the roles are reversed. Americans workers at TSMC's Arizona fab may chafe at becoming the humble students of their mentors in Taiwan, who nearly 50 years ago transferred semiconductor technology from RCA of the US. In general, TSMC went to the United States, Japan, Germany and other countries to set up factories in response to geopolitical factors, but all the phenomena now show that TSMC seems to have lost everything. Well, thanks for your listening, and please be free to put your comments below and share your insightful ideas. I am Tech Teller, the person to tell you the opinions that worth spreading every day. Your precious time with us is highly appreciated. See you.